Come budget, and a lot of us start trembling at the thought of इस बार budget में क्या होने वाला है. But also, will I be able to understand all of these terms that the finance minister uses while announcing the budget? I know you have felt it. I know I have felt it. But this time, we are going to make this Herculean task of understanding the budget a little easier by decoding some of the terms that are used while announcing budget. So number 1, union budget. Now what is union budget? Union budget is basically mom sitting down and saying that this is my income and this is my expenditure for the coming year. So basically the government makes an estimate of all the income and the expenditure that is expected for that particular financial year. Now the financial year starts from the 1st of April and ends on the 31st of March. Now you can largely divide union budget into capital budget and revenue budget. Now the capital budget is basically money borrowed from RBI or the public and money spent on big projects like construction or making of roads, and all of that goes into capital budget. Now what is revenue budget? Revenue budget is basically all the income coming in from things like income tax, excise duties, etc., and all the expenditure that the government does on day-to-day spending.
Wow, Modi ji, wow. Wow.
Next is fiscal deficit. Say for instance, in a year, you earn 10,000 rupees, but you ended up spending 15,000 rupees. So that difference between your income and the spending is 5,000 rupees, which you say borrowed from a friend. Now similarly, the government gets income, or say the revenue that the government gets from taxes, interest, etc., and they end up spending more, say on construction or building of infrastructure or government employees' salaries. And if the spending is more than the revenue, that is fiscal deficit. Why is fiscal deficit important? So if the fiscal deficit is too high, then it can lead to inflation. Ab inflation agar zyada hoga, so of course people like you and me will end up paying more money. Now next, what we are going to discuss are taxes. Taxes which are inevitable, like you have to pay a tax, like you can't get away from paying a tax. Now all your taxes are also divided into two brackets. One are direct taxes and the other are indirect taxes. Now all your direct taxes include taxes like income tax or corporate tax, and indirect taxes are the taxes that you pay on all the services that you avail. Say for instance, eating at a restaurant and the GST that's applied on your bill, or going to a salon and the GST that's applied on that service. Those are all indirect taxes. Now we come to capital expenditure. Say for instance, you go ahead and you buy a house. Now a house is not simply a spending. A house can pay you back in a number of ways. Number 1 is, of course, you can live in the house. Second is, you can of course put on rent, in which case you get that rent from the house. Number 3 is, you can sell the house, maybe at a higher price. Capital expenditure is basically the money that the government spends on facilities that generate money. So say for instance, if the government builds schools, train infrastructure, all of this comprises of capital expenditure. Now hold on tight, we are pretty much nearing the end of the video.
Okay.
Now next is disinvestment. Now if you break up the word disinvestment, you will break it up into dis and investment. Investment is of course putting money into something. Disinvestment means selling it off. Now in a similar manner, the government also sells off certain things that it has previously invested in. Say for instance, this year the government ended up selling Air India for 18,000 crore rupees. Now that for instance counts as disinvestment. Now we come to the hero term of the day, which is GDP. Now GDP, the gross domestic product, it basically tells you the size of the economy. What is your economy worth? Now, how is GDP calculated? GDP is the sum total of every single product that is produced in the country, which means a pen, pencil, chappal, rubber band, anything that you can think of under the sun that is being produced in India. Every single service that is available in the country, which is your doctor's ka service or your advocate ka service, any single service that you can think of in the country, you combine both those things and you get the GDP. Now, why is GDP important? Of course, nobody goes on to tell you what that actual number of the sum total of everything produced in the country and the sum total of every service in the country is. What people end up telling you is the GDP growth percentage. That growth percentage is what determines the growth of your economy in a particular financial year. I don't know about you, but after doing all of this research and learning about these terms has motivated me a little bit to go ahead and tune into the budget session this year. So I hope this video comes in handy for you. Deep down, I am hoping that some external force comes in and pays my income tax. ऐसा कुछ ऑप्शन है क्या?
मैं कोई गांव से आया हूँ क्या? नकली नोट छापने का धंधा है क्या?
Anyway, I hope this video was helpful, and if you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now, and don't forget to hit that bell icon.